So as Pilar was saying, my name is Camilo Osuna. I'm here based in ProColombia's office in Miami, and Alejandro's also here with us.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So here, Alejandro and I are here to help and to continue connecting Colombia and the US. Specifically, today we want to talk about Colombia as a destination for global services. And I think it's of interest. It's a topic of interest for the people that are connected in this call today. Go ahead, Wendy.
Okay. There we go.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Okay.
Yeah. I'll just say next. That'll be easier.
Okay. Okay, good.
Okay. So we just wanted just to quickly, just for the before we actually get into this slide, before we get started, we just wanted to let you know that ProColombia is the agency that promotes tourism, investment, and exports of Colombia around the world. Our biggest office outside of Colombia is in the US, and that's where Alejandro and I are located. Offices in New York, Miami, and local representatives in other cities around the US. Now, talking about services and the reason why we're here, Colombia has become a very important player in the region when it comes to outsourcing global services and actually serving as a delivery center for many types of services that are pretty much knowledge-based for the most part. Today, Colombia ranks number 3, as you can see here, in Latin America, according to the latest Global Service Location Index, meaning there are more companies, international companies, arriving in Colombia to work with the local talent to make delivery centers and to do software development and do customer care, contact center work out of Colombia, because there's a tendency, or there's actually availability of skilled labor. There's a cost competitiveness in Colombia, and the geographical location actually helps us to serve markets like the US via nearshore services. Next, please. So one of the examples that we see here is one of the many indexes or rankings that you will see available in the market is the BPO, business process outsourcing. This is just one of them that ranks Colombia as the #1 destination today for delivering outsourcing work out of Colombia. We were compared with this list of countries for so many reasons, based on local availability of talent, skills, political support, BPO infrastructure, IT infrastructure. All of those combined make Colombia an ideal destination for outsourcing businesess. This is just an example, as I was saying, of many other indexes that you might actually find in the market. And it's important that we wanted to highlight that if you're thinking about doing this mission in April, and then you're looking at the services industry in Colombia, you will find yourself with a country and with a market is actually very international, very much ready to do business around the world. Next. Now, when we look at Colombia, for those interested in learning, the Colombian market itself for the service industry, when we look at BPO, outsourcing world, and software, Colombia is an attractive market by looking at sales and looking, how much actually is being traded within the country for BPO and software. Today, Colombia is ranked number 3 when it comes to sales. In BPO, it's around $2.6 billion, and for software, it's around $1.8 billion. That's another reason why we keep hosting or keep welcoming interested companies in the services industry to come to Colombia to take advantage of the domestic market. Next, please. And then when we look at the number of dollars, or the amount of dollars that arrive in Colombia in the past years, compared to the other countries in the region, looking at just software and IT services in Latin America, you will see that Colombia has gained a very, very prestigious location in this ranking, being number 2 when it comes to the amount of dollar that is actually being attracted by the software sector, reaching in 2021 around $450 million, which is actually quite a success for us. And then we continue in that same trend, where we're working on continuing on the same increasing trend, attracting more companies from the software, but also from business process outsourcing sector to come to Colombia to do business or to form some type of alliances with local providers as well. Next, please. And all of this is possible thanks to our human capital. As I was mentioning earlier, there is a set of, there's a growing availability of a skilled labor force. There's a cost competitiveness tied to, to these advantages. And there is a availability of labor in Colombia that is not just in one city, but it's actually, as you will actually hear from the other speakers today, is available from, a few other places in Colombia where you will find the type of skill that you're looking for, the type of human capital that you're looking for in order to find opportunities in the services industry in Colombia. Next, please. So this is one example of, again, of the many rankings that are maybe available in the market. This is just one particular one that we like to use when it comes to looking or, kind of rating our local talent in Colombia compared to the region. We are here, ranked number 3 after Chile and Mexico. And basically what this ranking says is, how prepared and how trained your labor force is in order to work with the services industry. So number 3 is actually a great positioning. We continue to work really hard to make our labor force ready, although it's not within the core of ProColombia to do that. We work with local partners in Colombia to at least help them and advise them on where we think skilled labor should improve in order to make themselves more ready to engage in more international business and more international deals, specifically in the US, because this is where we are right now. Next, please. So part of this entire offering of human capital and skilled labor force is actually made out of, or comes from the BPO industry. Today, there is more than 700,000 professionals available to work within the BPO sector. A lot of these people that are available to work in the outsourcing in the BPO industry are actually contributing to the exports of the sector to the world and to the US. Basically, around a little more than 50% of the BPO export figures actually come to the US. So that means there are more skilled labor that is pretty much, very much accustomed to doing business with US clients. They have the skills to serve clients here. They understand the cultural differences, and then they're ready to help and serve those companies that arrive in Colombia that are interested in using this talent to reach new clients within the US. This is an example of, probably the largest employer or the largest sector that employs some of this skilled labor that at the end up exporting their services into the US. Next, please. And next, please. So all of this and the reason why we're here was just to introduce, what we have, the regions that we have, and sort of like what their specialty is within the region. This is a map of Colombia. And as you will hear from the other speakers, different regions in Colombia, they have the number of companies that are actually serving the services industry, that are working within the services industry. They have certain technologies that are, they're special, that they're focused on. They have the type of labor that is actually really capable of delivering the work that you're expecting within the industry of services. And they have actually focused on certain sectors and certain verticals that will allow them to showcase that specialization within an industry. So we wanted to show you this specific map just to show you, or just to showcase that, when it comes to software for a specific vertical, when it comes to type of services that are being delivered either within fintech or retail or healthcare, you will see that depending on where you are in Colombia, you will find more or less that type of offering depending on where you are in the country. I understand that will be helpful since you will be actually going into Colombia in April So it'll be good to have this map ready in your head before you actually go to this mission. Next, please. Okay. And as an example, you know, this is an example when it comes to BPO and shared services operation, the kind of solutions that we are continually looking at Colombia. We continue to see companies in the BPO industry and shared services that they serve out of Colombia. It's important to note that the two most important services that are being delivered from Colombia are customer service in Spanish and sales. And the main segments in the shared services area are services, financial services, accounting, technology, retail, and logistics, just to mention a few of the things that are being done out of the shared services operations that we have established in Colombia. Just as a few examples, we have UPS, Johnson & Johnson, Holcim, Medtronic. All of these companies are international, multinational companies. They have established their shared services center in Colombia, and then they're deploying this type of services that you see on this slide, using the local talent, and they continue to grow year to year. Okay, so this was sort of like an opening presentation of, you know, of Colombia before we actually zooming into the regions that are connected to this call. Hopefully we gave you, you know, some introductory info that is useful for you. But you know, we're located in Miami. If you have any questions, we're here to answer those questions. So do not hesitate to reach out to us if you want to just clarify any of the things that we just mentioned today.